Well, hello, beautiful people. Well, welcome back to a football show. Week 2 recap is what we're getting ready to do. And just remember, like, subscribe, and comment below. And let us know what you think. And what else, Brandon?
Oh, hit that notification bell.
Ding, ding, ding. All right, so we're going to get started. I'm going to go over the standings for me against my son and against my editor. So our editor, I should say. So this week I had 6 wins, 10 losses. It was a tough week, man.
Pretty good.
And then pretty good. And then Brandon had 7 wins, 9 losses. The editor actually flipped it, and he had 9 wins and 7 losses.
You're lucky.
Yeah, and then that was for the spread, and then straight up, Brandon went 8-7, and the editor went. I'm sorry, Brandon went 7-9. Excuse me, 7-9, and the editor went 8-8, and I went 8-8 as well. So there you go. That's our standings. So totals wise, I'm beating Brandon by a couple. I'm beating him by 4 on the straight up, and I'm beating him by 1 against the spread. And editor's beating all of us. Our editor is beating all of us by 2 against the spread, and he's losing by 1 in the straight up. So we're just going to do a real recap of each game and what we thought. Really, I just want to do a recap over the whole thing. My broad opinion was I didn't think NFL offense played that well. I think that all the underdogs, almost not all of them, but most of the underdogs won this week. So it was a tough day. They said there's like 6, when I was listening to a gentleman, he said there were 6 or 7 top games that were had the most money on them, and every one of them lost. The favorites lost. So wherever all the money was on, they lost. So the bookies went nuts this weekend. They had a great weekend for sure.
Okay.
So my biggest takeaway was I still think there's a lot of laundry out there. I think there's a lot of flags still. So hopefully they'll start letting them play a little bit more. I think there's some of those calls are questionable.
Yeah, it's ruining the game.
It is. It's just doesn't even make it fun.
Yeah.
But I get it. They're calling what they see, but they got to lighten up a little bit, because every NFL player holds one way or another. You can call hold every single play. It's the ones that are obvious. Biggest takeaway for me was Saints. The Saints game was a big surprise to me. I think Dallas should have played better than that, but their defense looked flat. They didn't look like they were on their toes, and allow Kamara to score 4 touchdowns is crazy to me.
Yeah.
And allow Carr to score 3 more is crazy to me too. But I promise you this: you keep liking those Saints, Carr's gonna. I'd put money on that. Carr is gonna disappoint. He just does. I don't understand why he does, because he does have the skills, but something gets in that head, and then he's done. You gotta mess up his game. You gotta take him off his rhythm, and he'll be good. So, what do you think? Go ahead, and then I'll chime in more if I need to. Go.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about this week. I think it was a terrible week for NFL. I think a lot of the games that teams that were undefeated, they should have won those games, and they lost. It's sad to see. There's really no offense. When it came to those teams that were undefeated after winning week one, it's like all of them were flat, like the Cowboys, Niners. Um, I would say the top scoring teams, they're flat in week two. They didn't look that good at all, especially the Cowboys. Yeah, I'll give you that. That's the biggest upset I've ever seen. That's the first game they've lost then
at home.
At home, so I don't know what since
14 in a row, I think it was.
That's the first one. That's sad for Cowboys fans, but it's also it's crazy how bad that defense looked. And Michael Parsons said today on his podcast, he's saying there's no effort out there on the defense side of the ball. Even on offense, there's no effort. No one was playing like a team. No one was playing well. Coaching, the play calls were not great. They just look like they gave up. Because like when I saw Kamara out there scoring, I'm like they weren't even really going after him, and they let Carr do his thing. And the play action, when the play action came, he found guys open. And I'm assuming, I guess that's the Cowboys' weakness is defending the play action. So they're gonna have to fix it up here going against the Ravens next week. So I hope they don't lose another home game. But that one, we're gonna have to see how well Cowboys play there. But I was gonna say my other game, my Niners, very disappointed in them. That was very bad game from them.
Well, it was a bad game, but we gotta take our hat off to the Minnesota defense. They swarmed that ball. They played them tough, and that I will say happened. Should we have lost the game? No, I don't think we should have lost the game. But I don't think I'm a fan of 49ers, so I don't think they'll lose it. Should lose any game. But I will take my hat off to the Minnesota defense. They played tough. They played a tough game. But also, what I didn't know, and it was brought to my attention, is they've played in Minnesota 7 times. How many wins did they have?
Yeah.
Goose egg. So maybe there's something about that field that they just don't do good at. I don't know. But I will say the defense played tough for Minnesota. Minnesota's defense was tough. And Warner was awesome. I thought Warner played a heck of a game.
I thought our defense played great until the last drive for the Minnesota. I thought defense played well.
Yeah.
Until they gave up those 2 third downs against Minnesota for them to kick a field goal and secure the win, basically.
Mm-hmm.
There's the one play where he threw in a double coverage, and both our guys are not looking at the quarterback; they're looking at the defender in a way, and that's what made him throw that, because they're both not looking at the ball.
Yeah.
So if they just looked to turn around, knock that ball down, and we get the ball back, we could have won the game there. But overall, Niners, the offense need to wake up. I feel like the O-line didn't give a lot of time to Purdy. I think Purdy, he's throwing too tight. Last year, I'm doing wrong. Last year he threw tight in the windows, but this year he's never thrown tight like I've ever seen him start the season off.
Tight windows.
Tight windows.
For sure.
And they can get some players hurt too, him throwing them at the tight windows, because there could be this one guy coming here and he's throwing it tight. But I think the problem was the offensive line didn't give him enough time. Jordan Mason had another good game. He looks great for.
He looks legit.
Right now. Yeah.
He's for sure legit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kittle showed up. Debo showed up. But Ayuk's got to show up somewhere, man. I mean, I'm
cry
thinking,
and you want $30 million and not show up.
Paying him $30 million and not show up that's not happening. Like, he's got to show up somehow. I'm thinking, is it because Shanahan's not giving him plays?
Well, here's what it is. I think Shanahan, and I think it comes down to the to his to the staff also wanting to kind of ease him in, because he hasn't been out there at all. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of athlete you are. you have to get game ready. And sometimes that takes 3 weeks. All these football players have been running out there for 4 weeks, and he hasn't ran at all. So this is his second week. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of Ayuk. And he did get a couple catches, but I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of Ayuk. I think Shanahan's putting him out there, having him run the routes, and of course, if Ayuk is open, throw it to him. But I think that there's some hesitation there for right now until he gets game ready, and I think now is the time. That's why week 3 and week 4 is usually a pretty strong week in the NFL. I'm not shocked that the scores weren't that great, but I just thought the games would be played better, and I felt like the coaches weren't as prepared as I would have thought they would have been. I want to say hats off to Buffalo. I think Buffalo has a solid team, and for them to go out and spank Miami 31-10, it's pretty impressive. I mean, Tua went out and, God rest his concussions. Hopefully he don't get any more. If he's going to come back, I hope he don't get any more concussions. If he does, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. You don't want to be like, unfortunately, Brett Favre, who says that he can't remember yesterday sometimes. And you know how tough Brett Favre was. And, toughness and making a good family decision is two different things. So you want to be healthy for a long time after football. And so hopefully he takes that in consideration. So, what was the surprise of the week? Well, let's say this. You tell me what you think. KC and Cincinnati.
I mean, don't get me wrong. At first, when I saw the fourth down pass and they called a PI, I thought, no way. There's just no way there's no way that they're gonna win the game off a penalty.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I've seen them. They have before a couple of times. Chiefs. I'm like, there's no way you're calling that a PI. And then when I looked at the replay, I'm like, yep, definitely a PI.
It was.
It was not smart. I don't know why. It wasn't. He was not going to catch that ball at all. It was over his head. You don't have to jump on top of the player.
No, he could have jumped,
hit
to
his
the
helmet
left
and all that. Yeah, you didn't have to do any of that. And and they said he's a rookie. I don't know what a rookie's doing out there on a final play like that.
Well,
no, I'd rather have a veteran that knows the late game situation, not a rookie.
Maybe a veteran's not as good as that rookie.
But if it's the same ball, that veteran wouldn't be jumping on top of the back of the player.
You could think that. I think that they pay these guys a lot of money, the rookies even though they say, oh, it's not a lot of money. It's still a lot of money. They pay those rookies a lot of money, and that rookie's better than the veteran. He wouldn't be out in the field if he wasn't better than they're going to put their best personnel out there for sure.
Anyways, I think Cincy played good in the first half. Second half, they gave it up. They had the game. They had the game, basically. I'm just saying, like, they did. Like, Chiefs gave them some more opportunities to score down the field, and they kicked field goals. And then Joe Burrow, I think the one play that the Cincinnati lost was when Joe Burrow fumbled the ball and they picked it up and returned it in for a touchdown. I think that's where the momentum just went right down to Cincy, and that's where they lost the game. I thought Cincy was going to win. I thought they looked way better than they did in the first week. They always play hard against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about them. The Chiefs' toughest opponent in the whole NFL is the Bengals. So I think Cincy played great. I think Joe Burrow had a good bounce back game. I think they need to involve more Jamar in the game. I know he was probably getting covered by Trent McDuffie, who was kind of locking him down in that game.
Yeah,
I thought Jamar had that first touchdown, the first possession they had of the game, that slant route. I thought that he got a little touchdown there.
Yeah,
but
that would have been.
Trent McDuffie was there to knock it out of his hands. He's a good cornerback. He's a little stealthy cornerback over there.
It's very stingy.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So Cincy, I like the bounce back. So next week, the playing Commanders, expect them to beat them.
Yeah. So sleepy games to me was Pittsburgh and Denver. Houston and Chicago was sleepy. That means boring.
Boring.
I thought
this guy.
I thought Cleveland and Jacksonville was boring. I thought Indianapolis against Green Bay was boring.
It's fun.
Green Bay and Indianapolis, 16-10. I like scoring. Believe it or not, I thought New York Giants and Washington was a good game. We kept on going back and forth.
Boring.
My biggest one of my biggest upset. We haven't even talked about this. Las Vegas against Baltimore. Yeah. Raiders. We talked about that one.
No.
Raiders and Baltimore, 26-23. Do you guys know that it's a potential that the Ravens can go 0-4 to start the season? That means Cowboys could beat them next week.
And then they have to play the Bills next week.
And then they got to play the Bills the next week. They could go potentially 0-4 to start the season. That's crazy. If they go 0-4, there's not a great chance they make the playoffs.
They won't. They're going to go 2-2.
Okay, so he's saying that they're going to win their next two against Dallas and
I believe it. I think the rest of
and Dallas is at home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dallas is at home. I know
they just lost against the Saints. That's why I'm confident the Ravens come in and beat them at home.
Man, that Saints team looked pretty solid.
Yeah,
they were tough.
The Ravens are pretty solid too, I think.
So I thought that was a big upset.
Except for that O-line. The O-line needs to get some work in, dude. They need a block for Lamar, man.
Hey, this might be the fastest survivor pools out there. I mean, last week it was who was it last week that lost?
The upset?
That was really upsetting.
Bengals. I mean, they lost to the Patriots. Yeah,
they lost to the Patriots. That's right. Bengals, and this week it was Ravens losing the Raiders. Raiders traveling across the country and beating them.
And it's definitely the Saints.
So hats off to them.
It's definitely the Cowboys and the Saints too.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, that one's tough. Other than that, everything kind of happened the way it was supposed to.
Except for one game, I'm gonna say. The Rams in Arizona. The way Arizona
41-10.
The one Arizona just came out and him and Marvin Harrison, they finally connected. Him and Murray. Marvin Harrison looked great out there. Don't get me wrong. He looked like I said last week, he was one of the best college receivers out there last year.
Yep, he proved it.
Mm-hmm. And he proved it in this game in Kyler Murray. But I feel bad for the Rams. They're
in trouble.
They're in trouble. I just heard today Cooper Kupp is going on the IR.
For several weeks.
And Puka's already on the IR. And Stafford looks banged up. And they still have Kyron Williams, but they just don't have weapons. They don't have the receivers anymore. And their O-line's still banged up from the Lions game. Defense looks terrible. Watching them play against the Cardinals, they look terrible. And the Cardinals defense looked like they were good.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be good. They're not supposed to be good. And the Rams are in trouble. I'm telling you that. They could be starting off this season. They might start off this season like winless in a couple weeks without Puka and Cooper. I gotta see the schedule.
You're thinking 0-6?
I think 0-5. That's what I think.
That's what you think?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I think after fifth week, I think Puka's supposed to come back.
And to be honest, I was talking about Green Bay and Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I remember the quarterback, Will. I always say his name wrong.
Willis.
Willis?
Yeah, Malik Willis.
Malik Willis. That's what it is. I was trying to get his first name in there. Malik Willis. I don't think he's that good. Yeah,
I just think the Colts just not play well.
Colts don't play.
They didn't play well against Green Bay. This is crazy. But.
Jay, I think the Indianapolis quarterback
played terrible.
He played terrible.
Threw 2 picks.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that game. I thought Indianapolis should have beat Green Bay.
I thought they should have ran the ball more. I mean, even though Taylor had 105 yards on the ground rushing, I think they should have ran him more in the red zone to get those touchdowns because the air was not working against that Green Bay secondary.
How about Seattle beating New England? New England's a tough team.
Yeah, dude.
They got a tough defense.
It's like
they got a really tough defense.
It's crazy how they're keeping these games close.
Yeah.
And to me, New England, I'm thinking it might be coaching. Like, it might need a new coaching because it looks like Mayo is like coaching them very well on the defense side of the ball, keeping it close. And the offense, I think they're going to rely on the run. I feel like the passing's not there to me personally. I think the run game with Mott Stevenson, I think that's what they're relying on more. But I think they're relying more. I feel like this Patriots are like the Steelers. They're relying on that defense.
Yeah.
Mayo's coaching that defense pretty well over there.
I'll tell you this, since we're talking, you just brought up Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Man, I am so frustrated with Arthur Smith. I mean, I'm not a Pittsburgh fan, but we have Pickens on our team, on our fantasy team, and he don't throw it enough. And if it's because he don't trust Justin Fields, then get him out of there and put Russell Wilson in there and balance the game out. Just balance it out. That's all I'm saying.
I will say in that game, the laundry was bad in that game because Pickens had 2 big plays and they called it back, and that was pissed me off. Because both of them weren't really penalties to me, and they called 2 big plays from Pickens back. So I thought, like, come on, man, there's too much laundry out there in this game. And,
there is a lot of laundry.
And what I was saying though, I was gonna say about Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
is that I love their defense. Their defense is killer, man. I know they play the Broncos. Feisty, I know the Broncos are not good, but they play the Falcons, who just won against the Eagles, and they played great defense on them. I just think the offense got to wake up. If the offense can score, this could be a sneaky team going into the season. And I look at their schedule, and this team, I honestly think they can go 7-1. Because their schedule looks pretty easy the first few weeks.
Well, they got to get rid of that offense coordinator, or Tomlin needs to start calling the plays.
And my question is, like, who are they going to start? Are they going to, when Russell Wilson comes back?
I think Russell Wilson should start.
Are they going to still keep Fields or 2-0?
Because it don't sound like it doesn't look to me, look to me like they trust him. No, I don't think they trust him.
No, and I just don't like them doing these run plays for Fields. I think they need to throw it more than running it with Fields. They have Najee Harris.
Here's the thing.
And they have Jalen Warren, so they don't really need to run
that offense coordinator. What he's doing is he's saying, this is his strength, so we're going to have to run the running plays for him because that's his strength.
Right.
So I don't know. That's what my thought was. I'll tell you this. The league are in the they're not doing anybody any good. These players are getting taken down from behind.
Oh, the hip tackle.
The what?
The hip tackle. That's one Joe Mixon
that hip tackle and them landing on the back of their legs. That can't happen.
It's banned. That's what I'm telling you. Like, the thing is banned, and they're not calling flags.
They're not calling flags on it. If it's banned, I didn't know it was banned.
It was banned. So that's why I'm confused. It's like, I'm not calling any flags on it.
Should be a personal foul.
Like in the Joe Mixon last game, he used to complain about it. It's like, to the NFL and the NFLPA is like, well, what are we doing? We're not giving fines. We're not suspending guys, or we're not getting flags out there.
Yeah, something's not right.
Yeah,
because that hip tackle is just as bad as a collar, the horse collar.
In the offseason, they all voted on it, and they all banned the hip tackle, and they're not.
Maybe it's not this year. Maybe it's next year.
I don't know. I thought it was this year that rule was in the game.
I'll get back to you on that.
Because you would think they go in New York or review and they'd be like, oh, that's a penalty.
Yeah.
Because it's a hip tackle. It's obviously a hip tackle.
Yeah. And the commentators were like,
they were like,
what is going on here? This shouldn't be happening. Because, that's the third one that was hurt. First week, it was one of the high profile players got hurt off of that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was Puka.
It might have been Puka. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Anyways, enough of that. So, anyways, that's our recap. We didn't go through game by game. We just kind of hit what stood out to us. And
what were the big games, obviously?
Yeah. So, I hope you guys have a great week. I hope football is going to get better this weekend. I didn't really like the games. I mean, yeah, of course my team lost, but that's not why I didn't like the games. I thought the games were flat. I didn't think they played good games, honestly. I mean, you had a few players out there that did well, but the rest of the league did not do that well. And if I can name 4 and 5 sleepy games, that means it's not a great week in the NFL.
No.
But if you like defense, okay, maybe it is. So it just depends on the preference. But for me, I like offense. Yep. I like scores. I like high scoring. And
if it's my own team.
Yeah. If it's my own team.
I want them to play well on defense.
I think Niners are playing the Rams, so hopefully we have a bounce back week and have some fun. So that's all we got this week. And again, like, subscribe, comment below, hit the bell.
Hit the bell button.
And we'll see you next week.
Next weekend, yep.
Yeah.
See ya.
We'll see you we'll see you in a couple of days. Because we got week 3 picks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you in
a couple days. Yep.
All right.
All right. See you.
Peace.